Hey, what's up, players? This is Hall of Famer Teddy Long, and right now we're getting ready to have a six-pack challenge match with Potsy and Tino on the Big Podcast Show. Holla at a player.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pots and Pans Network brings to you its Tag Team Champions of the World.
We are the world. No, fuck you. I was figuring out what you were doing.
The Potsy and Tino Show. Yes, that's right. You've got Tino Gray, you've got Rob Potsy Potchak, you've got the Old Age Outlaws rocking the gear tonight. He's wearing the Potsy and Tino shirt. I'm wearing the Mick Foley with Sacco shirt.
Because I know it fits. It fits again.
It fits again. That's awesome. Our theme song, as you may have heard, is brought to you by Adam's House Cats, called The Wrestling Song. It's available on iTunes for 99 cents.
We hadn't heard that thing, what 4 months? 5 months? How long has it been since we've done a live one?
Oof.
It's been at least 4 months.
No, I don't think it's been that long, but it might be.
It's been a while since I've been here.
Yeah. And you see the studio now looks a little more set up.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
We got some other stuff to put up, and another poster over on that side and stuff. But yeah, we are live.
Yes, finally.
We are live.
Same room.
And of course, if you're in the chat, don't be shy. Say hi. And as you see on the front, support the show. Buy a shirt, especially now that the Bullet Club is back in full force across like 6 different wrestling events, right?
Yeah, I don't know how I don't know if the the young bucks are part of that. Well, we'll talk about that too.
Yeah, I guess we'll get into wrestling at some point. But Tino, I think it's that time. What's up with you?
Not a whole lot. I played a show Saturday, and you showed up and brought me my son's comic set.
Sold out Junior High Horror Strangest Thingies. Sold out, folks. If your local comic shop doesn't have any, reach out to the Potsy and Tino Facebook page, and we could probably get you hooked up. I believe it's $6 plus $4 shipping and handling, so $10. $10, and if you want, just make sure that when you go ahead and you post that you want a copy of the book, that you also post whether or not you want it autographed. I don't charge for autographs, but some people don't want the autograph.
I did the first one. I gave Matthew his. He's like, "Did you autograph it?" And I didn't see it. I'm like, I know he autographed it. I had to turn the light on. I think the pen that you used. And I'm like, yeah, there it is. There it is. And I'm like,
because it's a metallic Sharpie. So someone actually, when I was in San Diego the one year, and I was selling X Live felts, also sold out on day one when it came out. By the way, this was my 4th sellout and 2nd on day one.
Now I'm confused. I went on the Amazon thing because I saw it on you put the message out about the.
Now we were talking about you, so we can get to me.
Okay. Oh, I didn't.
You were doing your show.
I didn't do much.
And Tino, what happened?
I'll punch you in the ball sack.
Well, no, because even in wrestling terms, this is something you never see.
Which is?
What happened to you?
I got the hiccups.
He was singing a song and got the hiccups. I have never in the world seen
Never
this.
happened to me.
And like Steve Austin has said on his podcast, Jim Ross has said that you just don't get the hiccups when you go live.
No.
And Tino, sitting here playing a show.
I don't know what happened. That's never happened to me before.
He literally, and it wasn't just a.
No, I had to stop the song.
He had to stop like
Everything.
3 songs.
Yeah. Everything.
And what was amazing though, because I got a 12-second video of it, which I did not post on Facebook or anything.
I was looking.
I was going to.
I know you were.
I was going to because posting you getting the hiccups singing I thought was going to go viral. I'm going to turn the fan on. It's a little warm in here.
It probably would have gone viral.
Yeah. But like wrestlers always talk about how in the ring they never get the hiccups. The you know, like just performers never seem to. And you got
The hiccups.
the GD hiccups.
I don't know where it came from. And I couldn't get rid of them. I kept holding my breath. I tried everything.
I told him I'd step on his foot.
No.
He wouldn't let me.
No. But we had fun. We had fun Saturday.
We had a good time.
I
drew like the entire. Yeah, there was a daycare at the bar he was playing at, and they were louder than you.
Yes. And they kept trying to hit Alexa, trying to make Alexa play. I'm like, thanks, kid.
So I have to explain this place to everybody too, because
both of his bars are like that in Clayton.
So Clayton, North Carolina, folks. I tell Tino, hey, my signing got canceled. Apparently the shop had a family emergency or something. So I was like, hey, I'm off. I'll come out to Clayton. And I was thinking to myself, Clayton's not that far. I get the address from this asshole right here, and place is an hour away.
Then he tries to bitch about it. I'm like, yeah. Remember 6 months to a year, I was running 45 minutes to do this damn show? Get your ass on here.
Well, I was already in the car getting ready to come out, and I was like, I'm just gonna bitch because that's what I do,
yes.
Right? But I was like, this shit's far. but so I get there, and I turn off the main road, which, by the way, there's no left turn lanes or anything with like lights, so you are going across incoming traffic constantly, which is fine. Although it was raining like a son of a bitch.
It was cold.
Yeah, it was like 34 degrees outside. Luckily, it never dropped below freezing. It
felt colder than that, though.
Well, except when you were playing. And that's probably what actually happened, is you opened the window, you brought all that cold air in.
Because I was hot.
Because you were hot, and your diaphragm...
Here's that word again.
Diaphragm, like...
Diaphragm.
Like, compiled or something. And
That's the medical... My diaphragm compiled.
I mean, that is what happens. It compresses.
Compresses. I never heard compiled.
Well, that means other things land on top of it. So it compiled.
Okay.
And compressed.
Okay.
But it did compress. And that's probably what happened is your body wasn't quite adjusted to the new weather that was actually coming in right behind you.
Possibly.
Causing you to get the hiccups.
Possibly.
But anyways, the place is a house. It's literally like a 2-bedroom house that has been converted into a bar.
It's cool though, wasn't it?
It was pretty neat. Except like, I went up to the bathroom, and it said WS on the door. And I wasn't sure if that meant that I was allowed to go in or not.
WS.
Well, that's what it looked like. It looked like it. I was trying to think that it said W for women. But I couldn't find any other bathroom.
So that was the only one.
So I was like, screw it.
It was a unisex bathroom.
Maybe it was a US. Although
us, all of us.
That's not a good thing, though. You don't. Ew. But yeah, so it's like a 2-bedroom house, and what they've done is in one of the rooms they've basically made a blackboard out of the wall, so that they can actually write up what beers and wines and everything else they have, and then they've got, I don't know, there wasn't a lot of social distancing in the place, but
there weren't that many people in there.
But there weren't that many people,
I think it's
so it wasn't that bad.
Valentine's Day weekend, and it was nasty out too.
And President's Day weekend.
Oh God, that is today.
That was today. Like, today was a national holiday, and
I had to work.
So did I.
Okay.
So did I. My brother-in-law sitting there sending me pictures of all these beers he's drinking at a place, going, oh, and this one's really good. And I'm like, well, I'm glad that you don't have to work today, but So what else went on last week? Nicole and Matthew took the train.
Took the train. It was, to Greensboro from Cary. It's supposed to be an hour and a half, but it ended up being a 3-hour trip because it was so cold. Tree limbs were falling on the train tracks, so they would have to stop the train to move.
Get out and move the. Wow.
So it took them 3 hours to get there, and then they got there and they hung out with Haley, which was cool. And they
got back on the train.
They got back on the train and they came back, and then yesterday was Valentine's Day, so we what did we do? We pretty much chilled all day, and then we ordered Cheesecake Factory. I went and got a Cheesecake Factory and brought it back, and that was about it. That was the excitement of it.
And then he watched NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day.
I got late and you kept texting me, and then this I'm like, well, shut up and let me watch it.
I
He
didn't
text me.
spoil anything.
No, but he kept every time I'm watching it. Oh, and this match. Oh, and this match is cool. I'm like, shut up and let me watch it.
So
Dude.
yeah. But we're not there yet. We're not there. We're still with What's Up With You.
Okay.
So we said that we would talk about you and what happened last week. You got to play a show. You got another one coming up?
About a month, yeah.
About a month.
Yeah.
About a month. And some other places may start
Hope so.
playing around with it a little bit. Maybe we start getting Tino closer to the local area.
So I gotta tell you, and you, March 8th. So my mother, the reason why we did the show, we didn't do the show.
We did it Tuesday.
Tuesdays because my mother had eye surgery on her right eye. March 8th, so we might have to do the show again that Tuesday, March 9th, because she's getting her other eye done March the 8th. So I have to kind of stay with her. I'll tell you how high she was.
Yeah, we were talking about that all last week because of the marijuana they gave her.
Yeah, so
for her cataracts.
So just in a couple weeks, folks, we're probably doing another special Tuesday. This time we can give you enough notice. So whoever's on, I haven't seen anybody, any of the regulars, and we'll announce it again. But that's in a couple of weeks. That's then. This is now, and I'm just happy to be back and sitting in the same room. It just seems like it's been forever.
It really.
And we get to have all our fancy graphic and the music. Like we hadn't heard the House Cats in like forever.
Yeah.
We hadn't had anybody introducing us. And I mean, it's just so cool to be back.
That's why I went with Teddy Long tonight because I'd missed it so much.
Oh God, it was cool.
Holla holla player player
Player.
player player holla 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 player player player. So
something's about to come unplugged. Is that?
Just plug it back in. Just make sure it's fully in there.
Okay.
That way we don't
lose anything. I looked down like that doesn't look like that's gonna be good.
We've got Joe McClain Taboo Tuesday with Potsy and Tino. Not this week, Joe.
March the 9th.
We are we're riding the whole train tonight.
You see all the memes I was sending out on Facebook? My baby was The Rock. He said no. What does he shut your mouth and know your hole or something? You see that meme?
It wasn't really from him though.
No, but it was funny.
Yeah. So
on Twitter too, you sent me that one.
So on Twitter, her mom apparently has started getting in on it. So she started sending the
Nia Jax's mom?
Nia. I just saw the tweet,
God.
And it said, "This isn't funny anymore. Even my mom's getting involved with it." I'm cracking up. I'm still like, I get teared up laughing so hard at this because it's just my whole.
You know, SmackDown last week. Like, you weren't there. On SmackDown.
And then if you go to Austin Theory's Twitter page right now, that's his new profile picture. It's just the eyes of Dexter Loomis.
We'll get to that too because that was awesome.
That's enough, people. My own mother is making jokes about my incident. She says she doesn't want to be left out. This isn't even right. Leave my hole alone.
Oh, God.
Like she's eating into it so well too, because it makes you wonder whether or not it was real.
Oh, I think it
but
was.
I think it was. I totally think it was.
I think they just snatched onto it. It's like one of those. We're also talking about all these organic things that happen that it's not planned, and that sometimes that's the best stuff when it's organic, and that definitely. Wahoo! And her walking around.
So all right. So nothing else really going on with you?
I can't think. No. Wednesday. No. I mean, it's past week. No. What's up with you?
Nia is eating into her hole.
Thank you, Sketchy Joe.
I'm glad I don't have the ability to put that on the screen because.
Oh, we can't do that now.
No, because we're using the good program.
Oh, okay.
Not the. Although thank you to StreamYard for the past couple of weeks of getting us on the air and making sure that we sounded okay. Joe, how do we sound tonight? Do we sound good with the Yeti X?
The Yeti X.
We'll let Joe answer that question as he catches up, I'm sure. So Tino, we were talking about junior high horrors, strangest thingies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sold out on day one.
Right.
Sold out.
Well, that's what I was asking you about. The Amazon is the volume 1. How many is in it? It's like $20. So what is in 6 comics? Okay. All right, that makes more sense.
Yeah, so 6 comics, a cover gallery, because we like to do 3, 4 covers per book. And then I'm still trying to work it out. I have to figure out when the pages have to be in and everything, because my plan is to actually, for the first time ever, show some of the original sketches that I did of the characters.
Nice.
So that's more of a little extra goodie for everybody out there.
So will this be in it?
No.
Okay.
No. So Strangest Thingies is if sales and everything do well with Volume 1, Freaks and Geeks, that we will actually go ahead and kind of fast track Volume 2, and Strangest Thingies would be part of that. In fact, I think Strangest Thingies might be the last one in the next one, although that remains to be seen. But the cool thing about it.
Excuse me.
You got the hiccups?
I got the burps.
Oh, okay. Joe, you missed the story about him having the hiccups. So tomorrow, when the show actually ends up on YouTube, not live, go ahead and watch the first 10 minutes or whatever, because Tino got the hiccups while singing.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
Yeah. So Strangest Thingies sold out day 1. Kind of led me to just go, you know what? I'm gonna fast track at least 3 more junior high horror stories now. So I'm doing No, I Heard It, I Was Here, Just Quiet. Oh, okay. Even though it said don't be shy, say hi.
Leave him alone.
No, okay. Joe, our fact checker out there, who actually likes to make sure that I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to pro wrestling. But so the first one is going to be Return of the Walking Flu.
Yeah. Okay.
And in fact, if I just sneak in here real quick. The original art for my new cover is right there.
Which one is that? Chuckles?
That's for the Return of the Walking Flu.
Nice.
So it'll have the logos right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I can show Tino real quick because I think it's right. No, it doesn't look like it is. Maybe it's right here.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then so now we'll go back. We'll go back to everybody else because I didn't just post that up on the screen. But that'll be my cover for Return of the Walking Flu Vaccine Edition. So Mr. Helios.
Oh, he's actually on time.
Terrence.
He actually made
in the house.
Because usually he comes on really
one more time.
Yeah, usually here.
We're gonna celebrate. Sorry, that's Terrence's song. He plays it every night that he's at Ruckus.
Oh, okay.
Seriously, and he just posted something on my Facebook page about it. But what is up, Terrence?
When are you gonna get him to do the show?
Well, he is welcome to come over whenever he wants. I'll even grab a third chair for him.
Oh, damn.
You know, but yeah. So Return of the Walking Flu will be the first one, and then as we get closer to the actual release of Stranger Things Season 4, there will be Strangest Thingies Part 2.
Matthew will want that one too.
And then
not every night.
Not every night. Yeah, you play it every night, T. Like at least every night that I go up there, you play that song. But good old Daft Punk. But and then the third one will launch closer to the 4th season of Cobra Kai, and it's going to be an issue called Karate Kai, where all the kids start learning karate.
I need to watch Cobra Kai. That's also apparently I need to watch. I need to watch. Was it Cobra Kai, WandaVision?
Don't even start talking about WandaVision because Terrence will probably load up the chat with different WandaVision things right now because that show, the last 3 episodes are an hour long.
I haven't seen any of them. So
you need to get on it, man. Like the first 5 episodes or so are only going to take you like 2 hours to get through. It's like watching 2 episodes of a show.
Okay.
But it's good.
Right.
And if you like the Marvel movies,
okay,
it's the Heck, it's the first Marvel stuff we've had since the last Spider-Man movie.
All right, I'll check it out.
So it's time. It's time, Tino. That, The Mandalorian. Especially now that they kicked Gina Carano off the show.
Sasha Banks still on it.
But she was in like 2 episodes, yeah. And she's not dead, so yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah. So junior high horrors. Yeah. See, Terrence loves Cobra Kai and WandaVision. So I'm telling you, dude.
Right.
Like and if you watch WandaVision with Nicole, she'll be bought into.
Well, Matthew wants to watch it, so.
And it's.
I know. We already.
It's Marvel movie, so
Yeah,
I mean it's PG-13. So Tino, we had.
That's what I want to talk about. Let's go.
We had an amazing week of pro wrestling. And we talked about Monday Night Raw last week because we did a Tuesday show.
Yep.
So we don't even have to talk about that. So we're going to go ahead and plug one more time. Support the show, buy a t-shirt. But then let's go ahead and we'll start with this one.
I don't remember AEW.
See, that's not a good thing there. However, Sammy Guevara
Yes,
quit the Inner Circle. So we knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's been building up. But did you hear the news that Sammy Guevara got sent home from Impact Wrestling's tapings?
No.
Yeah. So not only did he get kicked out of the Inner Circle, but apparently his creative direction, he didn't like where it was going when he was supposed to make an appearance on Impact Wrestling. But it's got me thinking, Tino. Thinking.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah, Mean Gene. Yeah, dig it. So, it's got me thinking this. What does that say?
He said, I just watched the first 2 seasons of Castle Rock, only to learn that there are only
Ever be 2 seasons
of Castle Rock.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man. There are shows like that all the time. Like Jonathan Rhys-Meyers was in a show for NBC called Dracula, and the first season was excellent, and nobody watched it, so they canceled it.
Yep, I watched it. You got me into that. I watched it.
That one was excellent. Of course, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers is a really good actor, especially when he's on the sauce.
So what happened? So Sammy got kicked off.
So the story behind the scenes is that Jericho gave Impact creative direction for Sammy Guevara, and Impact said no. So Tony Khan came back with another idea for Sammy Guevara, and they were like, yeah, okay, we're cool with that. And then Sammy said, no, fuck that, I'm not doing it.
Why?
Well, I don't know, but there's conflicting reports all over the Smart Marks websites where they're talking about how it's possible that Jericho had to smooth things over with Scott D'Amore and Don Callis at Impact because of Sammy being a prima donna, right? Then there's other talks that it's really not that bad and they really don't need Sammy Guevara there anyway, and they just told him not to show up. Then there's Rob's theory.
Oh, hell.
Rob's theory is this. What if Tony Khan's idea was to blow up the internet by saying that Sammy Guevara didn't go along with the picture and they kicked him out of the tapings? Now, here's why I say that. Because if Sammy Guevara's in trouble and not expected to show up on AEW, doesn't it kind of give him that Matt Hardy when Edge and Lita started being a thing and Matt got fired and then started showing up in the audience kind of feel? And doesn't it kind of give you that, like, if he comes down and actually like drops MJF at some point just randomly and then ducks out through the thing and you see security run after him, doesn't that give like that Stone Cold Steve Austin feel? And start building up this possibility of Sammy Guevara actually like monster babyface tweener character.
Well, they're already talking about he's going to be a monster babyface. They're already talking pushing.
Well, he's a monster. That's one thing.
They're talking about pushing him.
But you know, right now everybody seems to think that he's just being a bitch, and I'm not going to say that he's being a bitch. I literally think that with with the creative direction that AEW likes to take in a lot of things where they blur reality, I think it's very possible that he was supposed to show up. They said no to the idea. So Tony Khan said, hey, what about this idea? And then they did it. And Terrence says that he's a Sammy fan. Well, that's great. I think that
he's the next Cohen of Eddie Guerrero.
I wouldn't ever say that, but you know, like it's interesting. So I doubt it.
Well, apparently, we're not there yet. NXT. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We'll get there. We'll get there.
You're taking too long.
Hey, this is gonna be a good episode, man. We're live.
I know, but you're taking too long.
We're in person.
I don't remember half this show you're talking about, so I don't.
Well, and that's just fine because neither do I. And part of the reason why is because, well, they do the same thing every week. Although I will say that the Lance Archer, John Moxley versus Kenta and Kenny Omega match, where I didn't see Kenny Omega for most of the match. I don't know if I was just asleep or what, but I just saw all this stuff happening backstage between John Moxley and Kenta.
You can see where they put him in the. They took 3 of them to get him up in the one wing angel. That's how he pinned him.
Oh wow, no. Although I do know that it was Falls Count Anywhere and you know, no rules or whatever, street
when they
fight.
were fighting in the kitchen.
Yeah, when they were fighting, and he threw a sack of potatoes.
He potatoed him.
Well, yeah, because in wrestling, you know, it's the kayfabe term for it out there, folks, is when you give him a potato, you actually hit the guy. Well, Lance Archer actually hit him with a sack of potatoes, so he
potatoed him.
He potatoed him multiple times. Yeah. But all right, since you don't really have all that much to say about that show,
we're talking about Wednesday or the pay-per-view.
We'll talk about Wednesday first. You don't really remember anything from that either, do you?
There's something. I remember. I'm waiting to see what they. I thought that they were going to try to push my boy Sam Shaw. I keep calling him Sam Shaw, but that's not his name now.
Dexter Loomis
against Gargano for the belt, but they seem to be trying to put him against Austin Theory for some reason, and I don't understand.
Dude, they love Austin Theory. They love him. They think that kid has all the talent in the world, and he's like 22.
Yeah.
So I mean, he does have all the talent in the world, and he's got the body to match. So I mean, like he's got everything working in the right direction. I'll tell you what, because you know that we're gonna come back to NXT. Let's go ahead and lay the smackdown.
Yeah.
Typically our favorite show of the week.
It still was.
It still was. Go ahead.
Oh, wait.
Floor is Tino's.
I do remember one thing about AEW real quick, though, that I don't understand. And maybe you could explain it to me. What is Cameron Grimes? He got all the money from the GameStop.
Wait. That's not AEW.
Who's that? Oh, no, that's NXT. I'm sorry. See? NXT's better. NXT. Cameron Grimes with all his money.
Well, that was part of the pay-per-view, too.
I know, but it started, he pulled up, I got all this money. I was just waiting for him to say that he didn't really have all that money and had taken it away because of stuff.
No, that happened to The Miz.
Oh, God.
Or John Morrison. John Morrison had the money go bad on him.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, that was one of my favorite ones. And then was it the pay-per-view they did the music video?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he had a rap video, and we'll get to that. But Tino.
Yeah, this Matt. Let's see. I don't understand what they're doing. We talked about this with Roman, and he's like, it starts out, he's like, oh no, Roman, he said, you leave that whole fighting in the chamber for Drew. He said, Roman's not going to fight in the chamber. He's going to fight the winner of the chamber match. Now, my problem with that is I don't know if I know who I want to win.
Kevin Owens.
Mm-hmm. I don't know who probably will win.
Cesaro.
Yes. And I have no problem with that either.
I don't think Cesaro's going to win.
You don't?
No. Because they're pushing him to go against Seth. Because you saw the beginning of that on Friday. Where, okay.
But why, though?
Well, let's start with this. Let's start with the whole Seth moment where Seth comes out and he's like,
Babyface pop to his old music.
he comes out to well, kind of, but he was still in the pimp outfit.
No, I'm saying the babyface pop that he got. They were cheering him.
Yeah, but we never know if the pop is real or not anymore because it's in the Thunderdome.
I kind of figured he was still heel because he had the Michael Jackson glove on.
Because he had the and he had the pimp outfit on.
I mean,
He literally looked like Dan Aykroyd in Trading Places after he goes to jail.
He like Dan Aykroyd in Dr. Detroit.
I love when he pops himself.
Oh, Dr. Detroit.
So he comes out, and the entire roster's out there. Like he's supposed to give this great speech or something. And then he immediately turns it into the heel promo, and they all leave. Except
Cesaro, which I thought he was going to join forces with him. That's what I thought. At first.
No, I told you a couple weeks ago when he fist bumped Daniel Bryan, he was starting his babyface turn, and if you watched it, it was he sees Seth in the ring and he's like, "What are you doing?" And of course Seth is like, "I knew I'd get one. I knew I'd have somebody." And then Cesaro goes to leave and Seth tries to beat him up, and then what happens? Daniel Bryan makes the save. And we get the match, with Daniel Bryan and Cesaro tag teaming against.
Well, they were already going to tag team.
Yeah, but they were tag teaming now specifically because they're going to have the chance to get into the chamber, and it just, you asked why are you going to get Seth versus Cesaro? Because imagine how good that fucking match is going to be. That's what they're thinking.
That's not pushing Cesaro. I guess it is.
It's not necessarily pushing Seth. It's trying to push both. It's that
Seth's had his time, and it's the thing. Seth has been there, done that. We always talk about wrestlers who don't need a championship.
Well,
Seth doesn't, and Cesaro doesn't, but it would help him along.
Cesaro should be in a worldwide company your world champion.
Yes.
Now, granted, he's never really pushed himself to be the guy that gets to that level, right? And that's why when Vince McMahon was on the Stone Cold show on the network that one time, and Cesaro's like, well, let's go ahead and talk about Cesaro. And he's like, he's not reaching for the brass ring. Well, I think now, after you've seen him for as long as you have, always going to give a solid performance. Always going to be over with the crowd, but he's not that nuclear heat or nuclear fire, good guy fire, to get him to that next level. And
so you think a program itself will get him there?
I think it could. I think the other thing it could do is it could make Seth see the error of his ways. I know that. And Seth turn babyface from it. Could. Not saying it will. Okay. But right now, your top two performers on SmackDown are Roman Reigns, monster heel, and Seth Rollins, monster heel.
You need a babyface to go against those monster heels.
And the closest thing we have to the top babyface right now is Kevin Owens. And you can say that they've hurt him. They haven't hurt him, because every week he's got the ability to sit there and say, "You didn't beat me. You did not beat me. You, him, and him beat me. But you didn't do it. So I can keep going." And it really is, when he finally gets that moment, like, you almost picture the same thing as when Rhea Ripley finally went over Shayna Baszler. Mm-hmm. You expect the entire locker room to come out and carry Kevin Owens off. And you'll get that one moment
for a week until next.
And then 6 days later, Roman Reigns will come back out and be like, "I want my rematch," and he'll get it. But that's all we need right now. Like, the fact that they're waiting, and then they're gonna move Kevin out of the picture, and they're gonna put Edge there or whatever. Yeah. And you've already, like, anybody who's read my Mainframe Comic-Con Gorilla Position article for this week understands that I am not into the Roman Reigns versus Edge thing because
That's not in the belly loss.
of what
We
Edge
talked
said.
about that.
Yeah. Katie is in the audience. She's listening while riding home.
Well, thank you, Katie.
And you know, we didn't even give a GameStop story this week.
We got to do that.
We should do that before we talk about NXT.
Okay.
Because NXT was so fucking good that we should totally give a GameStop story before that. Now I just got to think of one.
Well, you think of one. Well, let's talk about Roman. How also automatically in the chamber on the SmackDown side, automatic, didn't have to qualify.
So good.
Kevin Owens
and Jey Uso.
The hell did that come from?
Main event Uso. No, there's a reason why. Because Adam Pearce is trying to put something between those two.
Okay.
Although everyone seems to think if Jey wins, Roman's going to be like, all right, lay down.
Like he did that last time.
Well, he said you can give up at any point and all that other stuff, but now it's going to be, go ahead, lay down. If Jey wins, and that's when you got to think that he's going to be the man again. And he's going to be like, I can't do that.
He's not going to do that.
Well, I don't think he's going to make it that far. No. You know, but I could totally see it coming down to him and him giving his all to get there, and then Roman looking at him being like, "Why are you trying so hard? You know you're just going to lay down if you because I almost figure that Roman's going to be doing commentary.
It's got to be.
It makes sense, right? And if not him, then Paul Heyman doing commentary. Is it going to be
like immediately after that match?
That's the way they've made it sound. Okay. Is that after the 6 men battle and basically wear themselves down to nothing, Roman's going to come in and just eat the scraps.
I don't understand that. Well, okay.
Well, it makes a lot of sense because he's like, I'm a fighting champion, still having a match at the pay-per-view, but he's having a match against a guy that just went through 5 other people. You know, and that's the chicken shit heel, right? That's the chicken shit. That's I'm the head of the table. I'm still the badass. And let's be real. When he's had to step up, he has stepped up.
Yes.
He has done everything that is asked of them and everything else. But yet he doesn't want to anymore. I loved a couple weeks ago when he came out and he flat out said, I'm here every week. I've done this every week. And then he goes, I don't want to hear anybody sit there and talk about how I took 5 months off because of a pandemic. But you
see him talking smack with Daniel Bryan and Paul Heyman.
Mm-mm.
So Daniel Bryan was like, Paul Heyman was, and Daniel Bryan and Cesaro in there. And Bryan came in and goes, hey, it's me. How you doing? He's like, how come you guys are fighting champion, but when's the last time you fought on SmackDown? Was that like before Christmas? I seen fought this year. He goes, oh, you got him the Brock deal. He got him the Brock deal. He goes, how come every time you advocate for somebody, they never wrestle? But you don't want to deal with me, Mr. Laura, because we wrestle all the time. I was like, oh my.
Although the funny thing about that is that Daniel Bryan has kind of been on like almost a mini Brock deal for a little while now, where and I love him because when he shows up, you know it's a big deal, right? And he shows up more often, and he wrestles on the actual programs. But he's showing up probably half as often as he used to. And granted,
he might become a special attraction, and too, he might.
And that's just it. He's
already deal, man. He might.
Well, he's already told them that when this contract is up, he's done. You know, so he kind of started doing like a world tour where he went up against Kofi, he went up against Drew Gulak, you know, and then he had that little run with Drew Gulak where like Gulak was training him for some reason. Like, why is this guy that's never been world champion training a world champion? I don't know. But
now he's training with Otis.
Now he's another. Why is he training with a guy that lost the Money in the Bank? I think we're supposed to understand that Paul is such a good manager that he's got it to where Roman can pick and choose what. Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's not even just Paul's doing that. It's now Roman sits there and says that to Adam Pearce, and Adam Pearce just kind of like backs off. He's like, I don't want to deal with this guy, right? And he just, that's how they do it. So I don't know. I like it. I like where it's going. Uh, and I love the character. I've already said that. Like who Roman is now just feels more like it's his real personality. Feels like it's natural. It feels
he's comfortable.
And he's even said, "Man, if we weren't PG, I'd be sitting there. I'd have cigars. I'd be drinking whiskey.
Nice.
I'd be doing. I'd be sitting there going like Paul, take care of this. And that's a mob boss,
yes.
Right? He'd be sitting there just.
That's awesome.
Go ahead, you read this one. It's too long. Joe needs to cut down the chat.
He's been drinking, so he can't drink. It did pop me a few weeks ago when Roman was griping about Adam Pearce having a knee injury, and he said, "My knee hurts, my arms hurt, my back hurts from carrying this company." I disagree with the statement, but I love that he made it.
I don't disagree with it. For the past, ever since guys like Jericho and Moxley left WWE, like it's been on Roman, and we didn't necessarily like Roman at the time because he was shoved down our throats. Now people are mad that he's not shoved down our throats. It just is what it is. We sit there and we can't have our cake and eat it too.
Yes.
Like it's one or the other. Like some people liked Roman when he was always the babyface. He still hasn't changed his music. I would assume that Mania will be where he gets to finally change the music.
Probably because that's where Cena came out with his music he has now.
Yeah.
At a Mania he gets Bradshaw when he went for the title.
Yeah. Is that the U.S. title? Oh no! Cena won his first world title off of Bradshaw. That's right. Yeah.
The I Quit match.
Yeah. When it was like, so you think you're untouchable?
Yeah. Then it changed today.
Apple juice. Gotta love John Cena's apple juice. I'm amazed that nobody's ever done a jokey commercial of John Cena's apple juice. Like when he hosts Saturday Night Live or something.
I think we're the only people who think it says apple juice, though.
That's probably true. Mama say, mama sa, mamakusa.
You saw that. I was like, is that what he said? I grew up thinking it was like,
No. He totally did say, mama say, mamakusa. And yet it probably was not what was written.
Oh.
He needed it to sound a certain way, like James Brown. Gonna get to my one of those. Sorry, I have a little something in my throat. Don't know? No? Gonna get in the hot tub. Gonna make you sweat time. So, Bianca Belair really does look like she's going up against Sasha Banks.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what's going to end up happening.
And
now, why did Nia Jax and Shayna appear? What was
well,
that
they're the
purpose?
tag champions, so they're allowed to.
What was the purpose though of that? That had nothing to do with them.
To push the my whole thing.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, Katie, if you're still listening, one of the funniest things in pro wrestling ever happened on last Monday night. Last Monday, when the wrestler Nia Jax landed on the ring apron, so right at the corner when she was trying to drop a leg on one of the other girls, and apparently split her butthole.
It went right up her ass.
It split it.
And then she got up and said, my hole.
Well, she didn't say that first. She's like, ah! And she was so angry, she started kicking over tables and everything else because she was so angry at it. Then she yells, my butt.
Mm-hmm.
And then she moved 2 steps and she's like, my hole. So it was just to push the
poor
hole.
Thing.
And yes, Katie, I mean, now though she's been a real good sport about it, because if you go on Twitter and look up Nia Jax, her entire Twitter feed, like I said earlier tonight on the show, her mom apparently is sending tweets about it now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Isn't it weird that we're not seeing any eyes in the we've got people in the audience and
hey, you know who's not in there? Where's my boy?
Which one?
He's always here.
Who, Shavar?
No.
Oh, Chris Barrett. I don't know. Maybe it's because we moved nights last week. Came back.
Confused them.
Came back to the regular night.
Confused them.
We're we're also doing this thing where we're telling everybody support the show, buy a T-shirt.
Okay.
Oh, don't feel bad for her, Katie. She's hurt so many of her coworkers. That is true. She finally hurt herself instead of hurting everybody else. Tino, did you have a where did Joe come from moment? You don't really get to say that anymore because
Nobody really pops up.
Joe just sits at commentary now. Yeah. Not true. At the Royal Rumble, we did get a Christian sighting. So where did Christian come from?
No, but that wasn't.
It was for me.
Yeah.
Because I actually always liked Christian, and I even like his theme song. So when it's like go.
I do have one, but it's not. You won't let me talk about it yet. It's the NXT.
Okay, so we'll get to it.
Yeah,
So we'll get to your moment. All right. So I don't on this program I don't have the GameStop thing.
Oh.
So
your weekly rant is going to take one.
So. So should we go ahead and talk about
do a GameStop and then we do NXT? I guess the weekly rant is just a GameStop story.
Yeah, and I still didn't really think of one.
Oh damn.
Yeah, I know. It's been such a good show that I really hadn't thought about like a good GameStop story. Okay, so I got one.
I was going to say, like, what, 13, 14 years you were there?
Well, it's so hard to remember, like, on a weekly basis, a different...
You need to start writing them down.
I should, because people actually... It's so funny that you say that, because people have started saying, have you ever thought about doing a weekly comic strip of...
Katie will buy a shirt.
Well, they are available at... where is it? tpublic.com/t-shirt/242. Just look up Potsy and Tino on TeePublic.
That's not the only one, because we should have this
no,
one too, right?
there's a couple. Okay. There's a couple different shirts up there, and of course there's the Mick Foley and the Wall of Jericho's.
No, we're doing the Potsy and Tino show.
Oh, I'll still split the earnings of those shirts with you. How about that? At least for now.
Mm-hmm. She said LOL. Send link, please. LOL. And she wants to hear your GameStop story.
All right. So the GameStop story.
But we will send you that link, Katie.
So this one's a pretty funny one. However, I don't necessarily want to give the other guy credit for it because well, all he's been doing is talking junk about me on Facebook.
What?
Brian Fly sitting there talking junk about me. Had a sellout comic book this week. Mm-hmm. Sat there and he said, oh, it makes me feel good to sit there and give you crap about everything. And I said, oh, so I guess that works the other way too. So all my success probably makes you feel like shit.
Damn.
And he said, well, where's this success you're talking about? Well, I don't know. My 4th sellout. And I thought Tino was going to grab it, but he didn't. It's Junior High Horror, Strangest Thingies. Not even available at your local comic store anymore because it's sold out.
This is a GameStop story. It's not a bragging story.
All right, so we worked there so long, right? I worked there for 14 years. He worked there for about 13 years. And one Christmas, they sent this really weird product into the stores, and it was for the Nintendo DS. So, the Nintendo DS cartridges were like, the boxes were like this big, and the cartridges like this. And yeah, you're going to have to read the chat. But, so we decided we were going to have this contest between the two of us. It was just bragging rights. And this game was called Wappy Dog.
Wappy Dog.
And it actually came with like a robotic dog that was supposed to work when you would play the game.
Okay.
Now, I don't think the dog ever did what it was supposed to, right? Like it just probably went like like garbage, right? Well, they sent each store like 4 of them. So it's, how the fuck do I sell that thing? So both of us decided at the same time, like we're sitting there bitching and moaning all the time, talking to each other, like, oh God, we hate this job. And every so often when you worked at GameStop, that's what would happen is you'd have that moment of just not liking your job anymore, right? So anyway, we decided to put the Wappy Dog on the front counter. And it was like like, we're just gonna sit there and tell everybody how great the game is. We know it. We know that it doesn't work properly, right?
False advertising.
So I call him up and I go, "Hey Brian, I sold one." And he goes, "Bullshit." And I'm like, "No, I sold one. Like I sold a Wappy Dog." And he's like, "Well, I'm gonna have to sell one now." So by the end of the day, he sold one. The next week, Tino, because of GameStop's mentality on this, because we're probably the only 2 stores in the entire company that sold a Wappy Dog, they sent me 8 more. And I will give some credit where credit's due. So there was also, when the PlayStation 2, when Guitar Hero came out, all these side companies decided they wanted to put out different guitars. And at the time, I think it was the Disney Channel had a show called Allie and AJ.
Yep.
Okay. And you have a teenage daughter who's almost 20 now, right? Like,
yep.
So like, it was probably a show she actually watched.
Yep.
Well, they came out with Allie and AJ guitars. Except the one guitar literally looked like a giant set of pink balls. Okay? Like, it was like a shaft and like 2 giant pink balls.
Oh my God.
And they sent my store one. And I'm like,
not selling that.
I can't sell this shit. And I think I was at Capitol Boulevard at the time.
Penis guitar.
Yeah. No. I was at North Hills. I was at North Hills before they closed that store down. And Brian calls me up. And he's like, "Hey, Rob, any way that you guys got a Astro headset over at your store?"
Katie makes one of them guitars. You want a penis guitar, Katie?
Katie, go on the internet and look up Allie and AJ Guitar Hero guitar, and tell me it does not look like a set of balls. Tino's getting ready to look it up himself right now. So anyway, Brian calls me up and he goes, and Brian works at a mall store, and I work at like just a strip center store. And Brian goes, "Rob, I see that you're like the only store in the area that's got an Astro A40 headset. Any way that you could send me that headset?" And Tino, me being the asshole I am, I was never gonna send just one piece of product. I was going to make a box of everything that I knew I couldn't sell.
You gotta be.
And I even told him that. It's his time, dude.
Bad buddy. Read the.
I see it. But we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about the game
stuff.
stuff.
That is too close to a set of balls. I'm still trying.
Tino's still trying to look for it, but he's looking at Monday Night Raw.
No, I got sidetracked because the little thing came up.
Yeah. So Brian sits there and he hears me tell him. "You know I'm going to send you a box of garbage to go with it. I'll send you yes. I will send you." You want to blow it up? You want to blow it up and hold it up to the camera?
Because Matthew might be watching. Oh God. Okay, is that one?
Yes, that one.
Okay.
Now hold it up to the camera.
Can you all see this?
So I make this box of garbage stuff. I think I threw 3 Wappy Dogs in it, and I threw all this other stuff in it, and I was like, "Brian, you know I'm going to send you that Allie and AJ guitar." And he goes, "Send it. I don't give a fuck." And I'm like, "Really?"
Okay.
And he's like, "I work at a mall store, and I work at a mall store in Durham. So you know that all these cheap motherfuckers are going to come in here with like 3 days to go, and they're just going to buy anything that's in the store because they have to. Because they didn't buy their Christmas presents for their kids, so they have to buy something." He calls me on December 24th, and he goes,
"Sold it."
He goes,
on Christmas Eve.
He goes, "Rob, I gotta tell you, I sold that bitch." Now you guys all saw it. That thing looks like a shaft and a set of balls. Now, big motherfucking balls, but it looks like a shaft and balls.
I don't even believe Disney put that shit.
I don't know if it was Disney or if it was Nickelodeon, but it was one of them. So
I can't believe a kid channel.
it's the AA logo of the pop. A set of balls, Joe. set of balls is their logo. Come on. And there, folks, is this week's GameStop story of the week. See, I still came up with one.
A big guitar.
Now, what I want to know, because I'm going to go ahead and ask this, and I don't even know if Katie can answer it because I don't know if they've told the GameStop managers, but there is a rumor, Tino, and even not in guitar form, it still looks like balls. And it was a kid's show. So before Christmas, before I left GameStop, so in like October, they were like, "Hey, we got to do the reset. We got to move everything around the store." And I spend overnight at the store and everything else trying to move everything around, pissed off, throwing things. That's how I.
Short timer.
Well, no, because I did not put in my notice at that point. So it was like right around the time that I was about. Actually, no, maybe I did.
You did because I remember talking to you about that. You already started your short timers.
So
because you gave a month, didn't you?
No, I gave like 3.5 weeks.
Yeah.
But anyways, so they did this thing because at GameStop people used to always complain about the fact that like the last copy was on the wall, right? And it didn't have the game in the box, so we'd actually open the box, take the game out, put the game behind the counter so it was never played or anything. But people would be like, "Well, that's not new because it's not sealed." Right? No, seriously, Katie, you can back me up on that, right?
That's so stupid.
It
hadn't been played.
Yeah, and it even says new on the little sticker on the white sleeve because it's new. It's in a white sleeve, yellow pre-owned sleeve, right? Anyways, so GameStop decided this Christmas we're gonna do away with that. We're gonna take all the games off the wall. We're gonna force all of those managers to work extra hours to put all the games back in the boxes. And on top of
yep.
And on top of that, what we're gonna do, we're gonna put the top 150 titles in the section. We're gonna send you all the artwork for it, so you have to go out and get the DVD cases to put all the artwork in. You have to price all of it. You have to put it up. Well, Tino, 2 weeks after we did that was Thanksgiving, right? Now, granted,
you were gone by then.
I was gone by then, but I feel it. For my GameStop brethren, I feel it. I know what happened was this. They did a buy two get one free on pre-owned, and people were grabbing boxes off the wall, taking it up the counter, and guess what?
They get new.
No, they didn't have it. It was just a fake box. Like it didn't matter if you had it in stock or not. There was just a fake box up there. So all these people coming in saying, I want this one, and this one. And even while they're waiting in line, a manager could be like, hey, we may not have everything in stock. The display boxes are up on the wall. And they say for display only in like the little corner of the box or whatever. But
they're asking for trouble.
So okay, so we're in February now. And I don't know if she could speak on this. But I've heard a rumor from multiple areas of the country that they're going to do away with that now.
They learned their lesson.
Maybe.
Okay.
So I've already seen that some stores and different parts of the country, either like the bottom shelf or the middle shelf, is now all their pre-owned games, spined across the whole thing. But Tino, I gotta think that as they get ready to announce their earnings, iZombie was a great show, Joe.
I love iZombie.
It was a great show, except for the last episode. I absolutely hate when they do that. Oh, we're 6 months into the future, and how's everybody doing?
They just did that shit in Riverdale. They fast forwarded 7 years.
Now, but if it's to drive this, okay, so like Walking Dead. Apparently, Walking Dead got a lot better when they did that because they didn't have Rick to worry about or anything else. But I don't know. I stopped watching it because it got boring. But we have our allocation for software remerchandising. There's no word if they're doing away with all of it, but yeah. So I will give the higher ups at GameStop what they should do here.
Oh hell.
they should continue to use the cover art, but only for the titles that they have in stock.
Make Katie's life a little better.
Well, I don't know if it would, because could you imagine how often you'd have to go through and look to see if you guys actually have the box for, or you know, the cover art for it, the box for it, and everything. Like it's just it's painstaking, because they used to do this thing called title on hand, which was you would actually go through the section, scanning an entire section to make sure everything was displayed. And then this new leadership, new CEO, new CFO, new COO, creative leaders, and all this other crazy shit, they all decided,
still better than what we're doing now.
Yeah. So ultimately, unfortunately, the way that they used to do it,
it's the way they should be doing it now.
They figured out was the best way to do it. Now, at one point, GameStop decided to put a 3-foot section in the middle of each of the sections that was like a pre-owned bestsellers.
Right.
And that was just artwork. But it even said on the box, big enough back then, for display only, this is your top 20 titles. And you know, kind of like when you go into Barnes & Noble. It doesn't mean that they've got the bestsellers in stock, but they've got a bestsellers section, right? And like when you... And this whole theory, this whole way of doing it, is because the CEO now ran the #1 Verizon reseller in the country before he became the CEO of GameStop. Okay? When you walk into a Verizon store or an AT&T store, whoever your carrier is, and you go to look at the phones, how many phones do you see?
The hot ones, definitely. So like they have
whichever one's paid to be there. Yeah. Right? Now, at the same time, how often do they have it in stock?
Especially if it just came out.
Got to order it, right? Yep. So it works in the cell phone industry. Yes. So George, you know, at GameStop, thought it would work for video games. I don't miss that. But I like talking about it. It's fun.
Katie's gonna kick your ass.
No, she's not. She's and you know, like, Katie knows that I really care about the people that still are there. You know, I miss them. I try to talk to them as often as possible. Katie, are we grabbing a drink on Saturday or Friday or whatever this week? You got to let me know. Friday is better for me than Saturday. I've got family coming into town on Saturday, so no. You are always invited. You're sitting right here. You are invited.
You said Katie, are we? You didn't.
Yeah. Are we?
No, I thought you were. What?
A little bit. So Tino, she said, "Let's do Friday."
You two do Friday. She still ain't said.
Can you not come Friday?
You still haven't been invited. I'm not inviting myself.
I could do Sunday too, but Friday is still better for me. Sunday.
It's a pay-per-view.
No, we can't do. Well, unless we watched it there, because I watched NXT at Ruckus last night.
I don't like doing it with no sound.
It didn't have sound, but apparently, with as often as Vic Joseph said, his fingers. Like I would assume that I could do away with the commentary. Joe, you'll be there too. We'll be at Ruckus in Morrisville.
When?
Friday.
Oh.
So we'll do Friday. Make Hunter watch the kid.
Wow.
Anyways, Tino, is it time? Is it time? Katie, I apologize, but we have got to talk about pro wrestling. And we've got to talk about our favorite pro wrestling of the week.
Yes.
And Tino, it was Takeover Vengeance Day.
Okay.
It was one of the best Valentine's days I've had in a while, Tino.
Oh my God. Well, you're saying.
Joe said he won't actually.
I know he's got to pick up his son.
But, Tino.
I'll be lurking then. What? She said, I'll be lurking then.
Yeah, she'll be lurking. She's
okay.
gonna be listening just to see if we say something funny.
Oh,
But
okay.
otherwise, she knows that it's not the part she's interested in the show. And I understand. I appreciate.
We still love you.
You know, if you are a Letterkenny fan, that's what I appreciate. That's what I appreciate about you, Miss Katie.
You need to cut back on.
I've literally not even had a full drink.
And look at you.
Wow. Wow.
Anyway, NXT.
So they started with the Women's Dusty Classic.
Dude, that match was awesome. This whole card, you were like, some of the matches, I thought all the matches were awesome.
No. All the matches were awesome. The thing is that some were built up better than others. And okay, because you just said that, I'm going to say right now, AEW seems to put on tag team matches every week.
Yes.
And they seem to beat NXT in the ratings.
Yes.
NXT, over the past couple weeks, has had 2 tag team tournaments and yet still couldn't get over the hump in the ratings. And I think that's why we got what happened at the end of the show last night. I don't think we were going to get that, and I think they said, oh, we're going to spice it up.
Yeah.
But here's what happened, okay?
Let's do the pre-sync, because I was starting to say something on Mr. Because the name they gave him is stupid. Eli Drake is now L.A.
Knight. I think they let him pick it.
He was drinking some of those with you. And I called it. The second thing that hasn't been announced on TV yet, but it's been announced on every other website.
Taya Valkyrie.
Who called it?
You did.
Thank you very much.
But I mean, who's her husband?
John Morrison, but I don't think he's been sticking around. You think he's going to stick around now that she's there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think he's under contract. So like, he probably sat there and said, hey, you know, the longest reigning Impact Women's Champion is a free agent right now, and, well, we live together. Yeah. You know, like I think he's in coast mode right now, where he's like, yeah, I do my job, I do what I'm supposed to, I'm getting paid $250,000 a year to not do shit, you know, and he's just okay with that, because he never really seemed like the guy that wanted to be the hardest worker in the business, right? So there you go. You know, he was Carlito after Carlito. So
the tag team. I'm sorry.
But the women's tag team match, you had Dakota Kai and Mercedes Martinez come out.
Shotzi and
Ember Moon, right? And if you noticed, both teams by this point now Dakota and Mercedes had actually tagged before. Mm-hmm. But what made this interesting is that both groups decided they were going to go full tag team get up together and everything. So Dakota and Mercedes outfits actually matched up. The Ember and Shotzi, yep. Which is kind of cool because, you know, Shotzi does the ow ow ow, and Ember Moon is a howler. So like it kind of makes sense that they pair them together. And if you notice, Ember Moon had the green in her hair and everything else to match up with Shotzi's green hair. The match was solid. Yep. I think this was supposed to be a coming out party for Mercedes Martinez. I really felt like she did everything she could to really show that she was the star of the match.
But that duo reminds me of Shawn and Diesel.
Oh, between and Dakota?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. And sure, that's kind of what it's supposed to be, right?
They're going to eventually make that turn.
Well, possibly. I mean, like, at some point, Dakota's going to be like, get her, and she's going to be like, bitch, you get her.
Yep.
You know, and yeah, especially with the booking and everything the way that it's been in NXT, right? Raquel Gonzalez.
You said Martinez.
Oh, you're right. It was Raquel. Give me my damn drink. I get names wrong all the time. Like I called Sheeta Rio the other night in my article, and my editor didn't even fix it.
Oh my god!
And I actually have an editor for the article. So there was a messed up move at some point. The referee just kind of stared at it and didn't do anything, and it was like right before the match ended, but it didn't take away from the quality of what they put together inside the ring, right?
Yeah.
but it was a solid match.
Yes.
And Dakota Kai, I was surprised that she was the one calling the match while she was in there. You know, because Ember Moon had already been up to the main roster. Now she's back on NXT,
Yeah.
and Ember Moon's the one, or Dakota Kai is the one sitting there saying, "I'm going to toss you. I'm going to do this," and you could see her doing it, which bad camera angles. But at the same time, it's nice to see that they have enough faith in her
Yes.
to be the ring general, right? And obviously with
they did that in the Finn match too. If you look at it, the camera caught him talking to the ref. Finn was on his back.
Oh yeah.
He was talking to the ref.
Well, that could have been a, "Hey Finn, are you okay?"
No, Finn was like, blah, 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 blah. And you see the ref, and he went over there, and like he was saying something to Pete, and I'm like, he passed on something. And I hate when you see that, when you pick up on it.
Well, and you know, there were a couple times even in this match where you noticed that the referee, actually no, it wasn't this match, it was the other women's match, but you noticed where the referee would sit there and go 1, 2, and then he'd pull the arm up.
Yeah.
And I hate that because one time I'd want to see him sit there and actually like accidentally slap it and then go, no. It's because it was that close,
Yeah.
right? But they always do the swoop, and then there was another couple things where there was a power bomb, and the one girl sitting there 1, 2, and then I think it was Toni Storm had to push Io Shirai out of instead of her kicking out because she wasn't gonna kick out, you know, and she's supposed to go over, right? So all right, so Dusty Classic, we get Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Apologize for getting the name wrong at the beginning. In a good B+ match, right?
Yeah, I give it a solid B. Yeah.
You know, and I was saying earlier that the problem with like the Dusty Rhodes Classic, because on AEW you have tag teams sitting there wrestling every week, and then NXT was a lot of singles wrestlers, and then even when they put this tournament together, it was a bunch of singles wrestlers in tag team matches just to get them on TV.
Yeah.
So Thatcher and Ciampa or Shotzi and Ember, you know, like so you're sitting there going, it's not real tag teams, it's not. And because of that, when you see who goes over in the men's match, you've got the Grizzled Young Veterans, who are an actual tag team, although it does look like a young Stevie Richards.
And the Rascals, I still call them the Rascals. But
and the Rascals, MSK. And then, of course, Tino, while we're talking about this, did you see that Doomsday Device?
On the floor? Yes. Through the rope? Yes. And he landed on his feet. The dude that delivered it landed on his feet. I was amazed.
Dude that landed
and he was that. I thought he was going to smack the back of his head on that table. Oh my God. They got crazy there.
And the guy from MSK did a full flip in the air, almost hit his head on the table, and then still landed
flat back.
No, on his
face. He did.
On his face.
Oh my God.
And Busted Open was talking about it today, and Bully Ray was like, the fact that the kid sold it for 90 seconds, I'm proud of, because normally, like, if this was AEW,
he'd have got up.
He'd have got up, he'd have jumped on the top rope and, you know, done a move. Took him 90 seconds or so to actually get back in the ring. The only problem with it was he wasn't the legal man, so the referee actually went outside to check on him. Now, that's because of health concerns.
Yep.
So you can get away with that, but like, good God.
I thought he killed him.
And the problem with the move was this: it didn't lead to them trying to pin somebody. That's and that's what Bully Ray's been trying to talk about. Is like when you dive out of the ring, grab that person, throw them back in the ring, 1, 2, try to get the win. Right? He was not the legal man, so just doing it was just doing it to do it. I would argue that Kai and Gonzalez have been. At this point, they have, and you know, like we got to see Raquel Gonzalez against Rhea Ripley not too long ago, and Dakota Kai came out to try to make the save, and she got shoved in a locker, right? The MSK thing, them going over. What do you feel about it? They're the brand new tag team. You've got all these other tag teams that have been there for a while, and they bring in a tag team and they give it to them. And by the way, this is why you have Thatcher and Ciampa. You have Adam Cole and Roddy Strong. You know, so like you bring a brand new tag team in and you give them this kind of rub. Like they better be your tag team champions in like 3 months, right? They better be your tag team champions. Now, granted, they are a polished tag team. They weren't going anywhere else in Impact. They could either go to AEW or they could go to WWE or they could go to New Japan, but they weren't going to get any bigger where they were. So the fact that they got to where they were now, like, but it's almost like they've reached the pinnacle already in NXT. Like all they have to do is win the championships. But are they going to beat Oney Lorcan and what's his face?
Fast track them to the which I think is what they're probably doing is trying to get them there, and then they're going to get them on one of the Raw SmackDown.
Yeah, I do think that they're going to use this to make sure that they're polished for being a solid tag team. And then, man, could you imagine them versus like the New Day?
Oh my God.
Or them versus the Usos?
Them versus my other one, the We Want the Smoke.
The Street Profits. Yeah. Danny Burch. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Okay. Kushida versus Johnny Gargano.
And this is where the fuck one comes in. So they're walking backstage, and they're all the way. They call themselves the Way. Are walking to the ring. All of a sudden, out of the shadows, where the fuck did Dexter Lumis come from? This grabs off and then pulls him. He just popped out the shadow. All of a sudden, he was there, and just grabs him and pulls him away. And nobody notices until they get on the ramp. That's where the fuck did Dexter come from?
You know, I don't know. I don't know.
That was it.
Because this was about the time that we got the Cameron Grimes rap video.
I loved it. I'm sorry.
I wish we had the rights to be able to play it.
It made me laugh.
I didn't get to hear it.
You need to go back
because I was watching and I said there was no sound.
I gotta go watch it. Well, after this, we gotta go back and watch it.
I will watch it after this. Before you go home, I will go ahead and watch it. But answer me this, man. How is Dexter Lumis a babyface?
I don't know. But he's so fucking cool.
In a world where the TV show Dexter was highly rated, right? And obviously that's who he's supposed to be playing.
Right.
A character similar. Obviously he's not playing that guy. T's saying he did have the sound on, but he had the music even louder.
Playing your song? What song is he playing?
One more time.
Yeah, that's all he heard. He couldn't.
We're gonna celebrate. The chairs are all crinkly and crackly. But how the hell is he a babyface?
How the hell was Stone Cold a babyface? How the hell was The Rock?
Stone Cold's easy to answer.
Okay.
Every blue-collared man, woman, child, whatever,
I think
at one point or another wants to give a Stone Cold Stunner to their boss.
I think he's a babyface because of the people he's going after. He's one of those silent. He just comes up on you, messes you up, and he does. So he literally is super creepy, like the Ice Cream Man, because he's sitting there doodling little nice, like he's giving me a bad name, because I'm sitting there at a bar, sitting there drawing like doodles. How long did Orange Cassidy go without talking?
It's not even the not talking thing though. It's the dude looks like a serial killer. And they act like he's a serial killer.
I can't wait till they get him. They've got to give him a mouthpiece because I can't see them. Because eventually he's going to go for a championship. You got to give a promo. Unless they're going to make it, let him talk, or they're going to give him a mouthpiece.
You know who'd be good with him? Unfortunately, the first one I was going to say is no longer with us is Paul Bearer.
Yeah.
He would have been a great guy to be with Dexter Lumis. Paul Ellering would be a great mouthpiece for Dexter Lumis.
I say bring Stone Cold back, let him be a mouthpiece.
It's not going to happen, man. Stone Cold's not going to be like, oh yeah, I'll take the $50,000 a year to work on NXT.
I don't know if Paul Ellering will either.
Paul Ellering would do NXT because he already did with the with AOP. So you know he would.
They need to get Talker, man. I mean, Somebody that could.
But Paul Ellering would yeah. Paul,
Eli Drake, if he wasn't, I think he'd be a good mouthpiece for him.
oh, Robbie hairdo.
Robbie hairdo.
Robert Stone.
Yeah.
He'd be a good mouthpiece for him.
Or that Malcolm dude, but he's a heel manager.
Oh, Leo Rush, bring him back.
Oh my God, the hype.
Bobby. Dexter. He just run around the ring with a microphone. All right, so Johnny Gargano, Kushida. A lot of people think that was the match of the night. Your thoughts?
Close, but it wasn't the match of the night.
No, the main event was the match of the night.
Yes, sir.
At least to me. I know that our friend Jason Ingram actually said that Kushida and Johnny Gargano gave a 10-star match. And I mean, Johnny Gargano, this got said on Busted Open, so I'm stealing it and I'm going to say it. He makes it look like he's not even trying anymore. He's that good. He literally he is Mr. Takeover, but he's not just Mr. Takeover. I think Jake Roberts at this point is overrated as a mouthpiece and a talker. In his heyday, he would have been perfect for Dexter Lumis.
Fucking give him the road dog.
No. You want somebody that almost has like that creep factor too, you know.
I love you.
Brother Love with Dexter Lumis would be awesome.
I love you.
No, that would be terrible. Give him the sommelier. Reginald.
I don't know who would be a good mouthpiece for him.
Paul Ellering. Vicky Guerrero.
No. Jane, with the eyebrows that did the wedding.
Oh, James Mitchell?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that was super creepy, that wedding.
James Mitchell, wasn't it?
Yeah, Don Callis.
No, I'm tired of him.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
He needs to change his clothes. He's wearing the same damn outfit like 7 weeks in a row. But okay, so Johnny Gargano, Kushida makes everybody look good.
Oh my God.
But Johnny Gargano literally looks like he's on cruise control.
Yeah. I think he is. I think he's another Randy Orton.
And that's who they said that he was like. It's like you don't even realize how good the guy is until he decides to take a night off. You know? Yeah. Like and Johnny, I mean, he's had so many great takeover matches that the biggest complaint you have about him is sometimes you go, man, that match was too long. Like we saw that spot twice in that match.
Yeah.
You know, like and how did they finish it? He did the DDT outside the ring, he did the DDT inside the ring, right? But that's a solid finish. But I mean, Kushida deserves so much better. Like the fact that they're pushing him at all, knowing that he struggles with the English language and everything else, is one thing. But like NXT is the brand where you get the great wrestling matches, so he gets to have these matches against Thatcher, against Johnny Gargano. I think I prefer the North American title match to the NXT title match purely for the lack of fingers. So Joe, I didn't get to hear it. So I didn't hear that, but what I'm going to say is, because we're going to talk about that now, right?
Oh, we forgot a three-way triple threat for the women.
Oh, yes, let's talk about that. So, okay. Toni Storm is a star. I think she's going to get called up to the main roster before she ever wins the NXT title. Just, Rhea Ripley at least got to touch it.
Yeah.
But Bianca Belair never did, right? I think Toni Storm's going to get called up before it. And this was Mercedes Martinez.
Yes.
She's a star too.
Yes.
Like she has been in the business for a really long time, and
why haven't they called up Io?
Well, because she's a champion.
They called up Asuka while she was the champion.
Yeah, but that was back when, right?
Okay.
They called up Keith Lee when he was champion too, but what did they do with him? He's like sitting at home right now.
I think they're about to put him up against Bobby.
Oh Well, but they sent him home.
He's engaged now, so.
Yeah, well, that's how he got back on TV.
What?
He got on social media. They were like, hey, put him back on TV.
Shut up.
So that women's match though, like I said, the only thing I didn't like about there's two things I didn't like about it. Toni Storm is so powerful, folks. So powerful. She can break a table just by trying to clean it off.
And then he hear Wade try to cover for it. I thought it felt wobbly when the MSK guy fell through it. He didn't fall through it. He just like landed on it. I thought it was wobbly with this in. Your way to play that off. And then EO came off the, what you call it?
Yeah, because EO is the new Shane McMahon. It's like
they even made a comment like she came off the top of the house in your house. And, what up, bro? Rob? What up, Rob?
What's going on?
Kind of hard to hear you guys.
Oh, here I turned it down a little bit because I was afraid that the old Yeti wasn't loud enough. So we got Chris Chan in the house. What's going on, buddy? Another former GameStop employee. We're talking pro wrestling right now, and we're talking about the Vengeance Day pay-per-view. I was kind of when they named it Vengeance
Day,
Valentine's Day.
Oh,
so it was totally to play up on that. At least
Yep.
Wade was trying to cover much better than Cole ever does.
Yep.
Are you saying that Boss Time isn't covering anything up? Although I'll tell you, the best cover up on anything in terms of commentary this week was Matt Stryker on the Impact pay-per-view this past Saturday.
Which one?
Tommy Dreamer poured water on his hands.
Trying to get the sensation back.
And Matt Stryker said he's trying to see if he can feel with his fingers.
Oh, that shit was out. He popped that thing back in. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, Tommy Dreamer today on Busted Open at the end of the show was like, man, I'll tell you what, it's the first time I've ever felt 50. And we all know that he turned 50 on Saturday.
I was kind of hoping he'd win the title, but I knew he wouldn't.
He doesn't need it though, right?
Yeah.
He finished his stream. Ooh, wrestling I haven't watched since the WWF
Wow.
days. Well, I get it. We talk about it every week, man. We talk about it every week. But the first hour. And we've even been talking about possibly switching up the hours. Do the first hour of pro wrestling, do the second hour of talking about us, because like we seem to have more people jump in the second hour.
Yeah.
So,
but we also have wrestling fans on it
we do have wrestling fans in
the
it
whole time.
Yeah. So the women gave a hell of an effort. I would actually say it was an A-. Like there was almost nothing wrong with the match except the table fell apart, right? Io Shirai holds on to the title.
No titles changed hands.
Not a single title changed hands, but you think about it, it's a February pay-per-view.
So you think chances, which makes me wonder if any title's going to change hands this Sunday, besides maybe the Roman title, maybe, possibly. Because I think all the titles are going to change at WrestleMania. Remember, we talked about Roman probably may lose next Sunday, but get it back because there's another pay-per-view.
Yeah, there's Fastlane.
I mean, he can even hold it till Fastlane.
But Tino, can we talk about it?
Yes.
Can we talk about it?
So I have so many questions.
All right, I'll let you start because I have a very seriously like I tried to dissect this match.
You go for it, because I didn't. I just enjoyed the match watching.
Well, one of the most amazing things about it was I don't remember seeing a major high spot in the entire match.
No.
It was a mat
Mat-based.
wrestling. Sure, there was a couple top rope moves and things like that, but that's because Finn uses the top rope. But it was mat based. It was almost Brazilian jiu-jitsu. It was definitely ground and pound more than watching Pete Dunne sit there and run his elbow through like the ribs and everything, and he was just like stretching him. I mean, this is like 1950s wrestling Like when you had the mat technicians just doing it, the closest thing that I could call it towards was like, and it's so weird. It's like
Bret Hart perfect.
or like Chris Benoit and William Regal in WCW. You know, like you knew that Chris Benoit was going to jump off the top rope and do the diving headbutt, but other than that, it was going to be we're gonna do arm bars, we're gonna do takedowns, we're gonna but it looked like a UFC match,
Yes.
but it was a grappling match. So it was more like what shit, what's his name? I can't remember his name, but a grappling match where the two would just keep moving, like when the two of them were down on the ground and they were laid out, and yet Pete Dunne still had his fingers wrapped up, and
wouldn't let go.
and Finn Balor went to get up, and like he just would not let go of the grip on his fingers. I was like, that's almost as good as when they did that one match where like the guy put his finger on the ropes.
Yep.
And you were like, wow.
Yep.
Wow. Like they went that far with it. Except like Finn Balor is known to sit there and go like this and point at you when he's giving you the guns.
But he couldn't.
But he couldn't. So because Pete Dunne had already done so much damage to the fingers that like everything about it was just like mind-boggling because it wasn't two guys jumping off the top of a cage.
No.
It wasn't two guys throwing each other through tables and ladders and chairs. There were no toys in this match. It was literally two men
wrestling,
doing what they do best. Like Finn Balor was sitting there. I don't think he ever accomplished a sling blade during the match.
and there's no interference, and I like that part too. The other two stayed back.
Oh yeah, well that's because I think at the beginning didn't Pete Dunne like push them away and say, I got this, I can do this, and I'll tell you, there were multiple times during that match where I thought Finn Balor was not going to finish the match, and then I got to the point where like I think the match was like 25 minutes long or so, and I was like, okay, now Finn's gonna do it, and he did. He ended up hitting the DDT. Then he hit the 1916. Then he went for the coup de grace, hits the coup de grace, and then he's like, that's not enough, and still hits another 1916.
That second 1916. I was like, I thought he just dropped like a brain buster almost.
And the whole time you're thinking, if you looked, every time he went for one of those moves, he grabbed them around, and it wasn't your normal let me grab and pull or anything else. He
did a good job selling.
It was and it was probably the best sell job that I've seen in years when it comes to these guys doing things, because Finn Balor sold the injuries the entire match. And now like even after the match when he's sitting there pointing his hands out like this, and
he couldn't even hold the belt.
And I mean, he had to like toss it over his shoulder and just like leave it there because he just couldn't do anything with it. And then of course, what else do you have to say about it? Because we know what we want to talk about what happens.
Yeah, that's why I'm getting to the end of that. I mean, that whole match just the whole time had me on the edge of my seat, and I hadn't seen a wrestling match like that since we talked about the Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy match. That match to me was
but that was still
good.
High spots.
Yeah, it was high spots. So this was the opposite of that, but it still had that same like. I thought Pete Dunne might do it.
This literally was like you said Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect, but it was more like Bret Hart versus Davey Boy Smith at Wembley Stadium.
Okay.
Because neither of those guys, like, the difference though was that they both had respect for each other.
Yeah.
These two guys, like Finn says that he respects him, but Pete's like, I don't need your respect. Fuck you. Like, what do I need your respect for? I want your belt.
And then I think what was it at the end of that one? I think they earned so much respect. Even the referee got down to Finn. Normally they were saying that normally the referee make him stand up and raise their hand. he knew that Finn was on his knees, and he got down to Finn to raise his hand and to give him the belt. So I was like, a lot of respect there.
Yeah,
both men.
And I will say without a doubt, like they talk about Kenny Omega being what the 6-star match guy.
Nah.
Like
Finn Balor.
Like this is Finn Balor's third 6-star match without a doubt. In the last 12 months, and Kenny Omega hasn't had one.
I think sometimes it's almost like he's calling it in too, but he's like, he makes it look so easy. Is what I'm saying.
No, you're right. I mean, like, and in fact, him versus Johnny Gargano, like the we would see a match that we would all sit there and go, well, it wasn't that good because it was so perfect.
Yeah.
Like we would just sit there and go, what? I'm watching I'm watching a unicorn.
Unicorn.
I'm watching a unicorn of a match here, and yet you don't realize how good it is until it's gone.
Yep.
It's the whole idea of The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. We got to see it at WrestleMania 3 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
And each one of those matches, we were like, God damn, that's a good match. It's a great fucking match. But yet, you either liked one or the other. You back then you were not allowed to like both guys.
Yeah.
You could like Mankind. Nobody liked Triple H.
No.
But you could like Mankind, you could like Steve Austin, so when those two fought each other, it's like, God, who do I go for?
Mm-hmm.
But you could not like The Rock and Austin at the same time, and now you look back and you're like, why didn't I like both of these guys? These guys were so goddamn good.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Rest in peace, when did he die?
Chris, Mankind's still with us. He's Mick Foley. He played Santa Claus for the WWE this year. Yeah,
Scared me. I was getting ready to go.
What? No, wait, what?
What?
Did it just happen? No. But all right, Tino. I talked about the match. Terrence is saying I liked both.
Mr. Sacco. Yeah, Mr. Sacco.
Yeah, Mr. Sacco. He's still alive. The guy that had Mr. Sacco.
I think you're thinking. Yeah, you're probably thinking of someone else.
Yeah, there's plenty of them that are no longer with us, unfortunately.
But Mick Foley isn't one of them.
Mick Foley, thank goodness.
Yes.
He's on my shirt. He's still with us. You know who did this art, right?
Okay, anyway.
The way Stone Cold beat The Rock with that chair in their second WrestleMania. Well, and of course, he even goes back and says if he could take back one thing, it would be, well, actually, two things. He would not leave the WWE the way he did by picking up his ball and running home with it. But he also would have given a stunner to Vince McMahon after Vince McMahon helped him with the chair. But I digress. We need to talk about the end of the NXT pay-per-view. I was sitting there next to Terrence and our buddy Ellery, and I said the little graphic hasn't shown up in the bottom right corner yet, so it's not over yet. And what happens, Tino?
The tag team champions, Danny Burch and Orny Lorcan, came out to attack Finn Balor while he was down. And they were like telling Dunn to get up and help them attack him. And then all of a sudden, shock to the system. These three run down. They chase everybody out. And
these three. Let's go ahead and say who it was.
It was out Cole, Fish, and
not Fish.
No, Cole,
Roddy,
O'Reilly, and Roddy Strong. I kind of figured something was going on because when they were all standing there, and O'Reilly's talking to him, and Cole's in the background, like
it looked like they were like Kyle O'Reilly was like, "We got your back."
You know what I was expecting though? So Kyle's zipper was already. You could see the shirt, and so was Strong's. Cole had his all the way zipped up. So what I was waiting for was him to unzip it and be on the side of Pete Dunne.
You thought that he was going to join?
Yeah. Take what's his face's place?
Pat McAfee? No, I think Pat McAfee's going to make a comeback, man. Like
that's what I thought because I'm like, why is his zipped all the way to here? Everybody else is zipped down. You can see.
Well, because they needed to breathe. Adam Cole isn't as big as those other guys.
So. But yeah, and he kind of to the back, and he was whispering to Strong, like he was pointing. I'm like, they're gonna jump this, but I thought they were gonna jump Finn, which he did. He super kicked Finn.
Oh, as soon as he super kicked Finn, and you saw Kyle O'Reilly go, "What are you doing? What are you?" And Adam Cole's like, "Yeah, yeah, whatever," and like turns, walks away, and even Roddy's like, "Come on, man, what?"
Super kicks.
And then he super kicks Kyle O'Reilly, which, by the way,
Why?
because Kyle O'Reilly's getting all the hype right now. He's the guy that's been up for the World Championship twice. He's the guy that's in the picture. And what happened to Adam Cole? He got relegated to being the tag team guy.
Okay, so Strong didn't look too happy about it. You know, when Bobby Fish comes back, he's going to have a problem with his Red Dragon partner getting kicked in the face. So I'm wondering if
you got two different tag teams,
or
3-on-1.
Cole's out. Kyle takes over leadership of the UE.
Well, I think what we're gonna get is you're gonna have obviously Kyle O'Reilly,
kind of like Shawn Michaels left and Triple H took over.
Well, yeah, except Triple H never kicked Shawn Michaels out.
No,
he did later.
Mm-hmm. Okay, anyway,
but he didn't at that point.
We digress.
But the idea behind it, and this is where I think they said we got to do something different. We know that we've got main event talent all over the place in NXT. We've got Adam Cole, who had nothing going on, right? We've got Kyle O'Reilly, who proved he deserves to be there. We've got Finn Balor, who deserves to be there. We now have Pete Dunne, who deserves to be there. We've got Karrion Kross, who deserves to be there.
Yeah.
But we already saw the lightning in a bottle when we took Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa DIY, and we said, what happens when one of those guys is jealous of the other?
Yeah.
Right? We get a 4-year feud that when they finally did blow it off, unfortunately, it was without a crowd, and it didn't have the same... Yeah, it didn't have the same je ne sais quoi.
Oh, God.
Well, you know what I mean, though. But it didn't have that we would have liked. Now, we have Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, who, by the way, in Ring of Honor, had one of their best feuds ever. So we know
it can happen.
That it can happen. Now, unfortunately, fortunately, it's gotta happen now, and it's gotta happen in NXT because it's never gonna happen on the main roster. No. Because even if Vince McMahon sits there and says, Adam, you're the next Shawn Michaels, he's never gonna look at Kyle O'Reilly that way.
No.
Kyle O'Reilly looks like a 12-year-old kid who's just living out his dream. I'm sorry. That's what he looks like.
Daniel Bryan. Before he grew up.
Daniel Bryan will even tell people that the reason why he got over to the level that he did was because he was able to ride on that CM Punk got fired heat.
Mm-hmm.
And he took it to the bank. Now, granted, he was the best wrestler in the world. We saw the match between him and CM Punk at Over the Limit 2012. It was almost 9 years ago, yeah. Tino. But the fact is that we saw it. We saw that those two guys were the best in the world. And when CM Punk left, the wrestling world was like, we don't care what you do with Daniel Bryan. He's our guy.
Yep.
And Daniel Bryan was able to sit there and take that. Because, like Daniel Bryan's even said, they gave me a psych eval. And Vince McMahon was like, you're never going to be anything here. Like, they give people psych evaluations to see whether or not you have the charisma level to get yourself over. And yet, Daniel Bryan failed the test. It's like Tom Brady being the 6th round draft pick. Number 199. Like you think about it and you're just like,
what the hell were they thinking?
Tom Brady was never a never a starter in college. He was him and Drew Henson. Do you even know who Drew Henson is? Yeah, he was drafted by the New York Yankees and the Dallas Cowboys. Interestingly enough, like probably the only guy to be drafted by both of those teams. But anyways, the going into it, it's like now Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole. Do you get the ratings? Does it actually push them above AEW? Because I'll tell you, this is the whole MJF Jericho feud, except you're now doing it with two guys that are the best two wrestlers in NXT. Now, I say the best two, probably two of the best five, because they literally have the 5 best wrestlers in the world in NXT right now. But at the top of their game, they are the 2 best. And they've already done it like 5 years ago, and now they've been together so long that now you like this is gonna be like where they can take that Raquel Gonzalez and Rhea Ripley thing and immediately spin it on its ear and make you go, holy shit, this is compelling television. Yeah. So I'm sorry. I know that you want to cut this. You want to cut this a little bit shorter. Roddy Strong is so good and so underrated. Joe, you are not wrong with that. Roddy Strong, he kind of got dealt a bad deal here by being the guy that's always the tag team partner in the Undisputed Era, especially after he had his North American title run. The fact is that he literally can have a good match with a broomstick.
We say that a lot.
But
we do say that a lot, but yeah.
But I mean, and it's in NXT you can say that a lot. You can't say that a lot with Monday Night Raw. You can't say that a lot with even with SmackDown. But you can say it a lot with NXT's talent because they groom them, they get them ready, they make sure that those guys for the match that they're about to have on a takeover pay-per-view, they know that match is going to be B+ or above.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
And I don't care that they say that, oh well, this was the best takeover in a while. Yes, it was, but it's because they now have people in the stands. They took a couple months off. They didn't do one right before the Royal Rumble. They actually built up their stories, and then of course you didn't have any titles change hands, but what you did have, Tino, and this is where I think it's important. You didn't have 2 titles change hands or anything, but you did have 2 tournament champions crowned. So you still had new people getting over as a champion of one way or another, even though you didn't have champions changing hands. Now, it'll be interesting to see whether or not they do another takeover at WrestleMania weekend, because WrestleMania is 2 days.
They probably won't, because they didn't do it last year.
I don't know. They may still do one Friday. And do a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'd be cool with that. Or I think it's time that if you're gonna do a really good WrestleMania, you put some NXT matches on it. You know, we got that last year when we got Charlotte versus Rhea, but this time it should be Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. It should be Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross. It should be
at WrestleMania.
Yeah. You know, night 1 you have Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. Night 2 you have Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross. You have Io Shirai versus somebody, and then you have the tag team champions or whatever. Like, and you know what? I'd even be okay if you put Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa finally at WrestleMania. Because last year I don't understand why they offered it to them and they said no, we want a parking lot brawl a week later or whatever. Like, what the fuck? Like, it just didn't make any sense. Anyways, I know that you're done.
Yeah.
Tino's spent, folks. We both had a long day.
We actually did a 2-hour show.
Well, not exactly. You were a little bit late.
We started at 8:05, my friend.
Well, we're not at
No,
10.
I was here. You were down there.
We're not at 10:05.
No, I was here. No.
We're not at 10:05.
And we're not going to make it to 10:05. But I was here at 7:55. Mr. Drinkmaster here. We could have been started before that.
I had Tino try a maple bourbon
I
tonight.
can't remember what the name of it was.
A maple bourbon. Knob Creek.
Anyway.
What do you mean? I literally have had 2 drinks.
Since I've been here. I don't know what you're doing for
That's all I did. I was actually at Food Lion before this. I had to get food for the rest of the week. But Tino put Roddy Strong versus... I don't want to see Roddy Strong versus Ziggler. That's a waste of Roddy Strong. It'd be a good match. It actually would be a good match, but I do not want to see it. But, you know, it's been so long, Tino, since we got to hear our theme music, that I'm going to make sure that we play our theme music all the way out tonight, but not until...
No, I'm not, because I'm not falling for that.
No. I'm staying away from it. Go ahead and take us out, my friend. I'm not going to do it. I'm not telling you.
Thank you guys for sticking with us, folks. He's been Rob. I've been Tino. You can check him out on Twitter. What is it? Just okay. You can check him out on Twitter at Podcheck. You can check me out at HoodieFan91 on Insta. He is.
What about the show on?
The show is Tino and Potsy.
No,
it's Potsy and Tino.
It's definitely not Tino and Potsy.
I try that every week. It's Potsy and Tino.
Potsy and
on
Tino.
The Insta, he is Rob Podcheck. I am SC Tino. You can also check the show out on Facebook, the Potsy and Tino Show. YouTube, Twitch.
Well, hopefully you're watching on one of them. I know that Blitzwing has been watching us on Twitch, Rob Potsy Podcheck. The rest of you folks, thank you so much for checking us out on YouTube, Rob Podcheck.
Thank you. Finally, we get to hear our theme song, which is the wrestling song from Adam's House Cats. You can check that out on iTunes for 99 cents. What is wrong with me?
It must be that Pepsi Zero Sugar.
No sugar.
Get to your local comic shops or go ahead and check out Amazon.com. Look up Junior High Horrors. Help us out. Let's get this book in the top 10. We're number 16 right now.
We got to get Katie the link so she can go buy our shirts.
TeePublic users, Rob Podcheck. Boom, boom.
She's not going to remember that. So we'll send it to her. And as always, in Charlotte up on the big hill, you got Ric Flair, probably with Lacey Evans, and he's going, woo! No, it's
my hole!
Woo! My hole! Good night, folks.
Good night, everybody.